The annual Indy 500 is rich with traditions, including the winner chugging a bottle of milk in Victory Lane. We'll share how this tradition represents our local dairy farmers in today's Indiana Farm Report.
Grab the t-shirt, grab the shorts, so a hot day in store. We'll have the latest in your Monday's forecast.
One first grade teacher in Lafayette is showing us how to adjust when things don't work out as you plan. I'll show you how on News 18 this morning.
News 18 this morning starts now. WLFI Lafayette, news from where you live.
Welcome back, and hey, good Monday morning to you. It is 6 o'clock on May 24th. I'm Marley Thomas, and thank you so much for joining us today. All right, if you have been joining us this morning, you know that it is a very bittersweet morning for us right here on News 18 this morning, but it's also a bittersweet week because it is Ballant's last week with us. Ballant, first of all, good morning to you. Second of all, we're going to make this week the best week, right?
I'd say so, too. We have to go out with a bang here, too. So, yes, unfortunately, last week here, too, but fun's not over yet, so we're going to keep the party going here all the way through Friday. With that, too, not a bad start to the work week. Nice and warm outside, but with that, you'll see some muggy conditions, too, at least pretty humid. Temperatures are pretty comfortable. You will not be needing the jacket or the sweatshirt this morning. Across the entire region, 60s to about 70 degrees. We do match that 70-degree mark here in Greater Lafayette. 63 up in Rensselaer and 68 degrees for you folks out in Kokomo this morning. So overall, nice and warm, but with that, humid conditions too. Dew points are in the 60s area-wide, so that's right at that humid range. It's a bit humid, so a little bit muggy as you do head out the door this morning. Thankfully, though, dry conditions do continue here in your Monday's forecast. This morning, a little bit of clouds are working their way through the region. That'll gradually filter on out as we do head on into the afternoon, so I'd still have those sunglasses ready to go. Now, in the long range, here's what we're tracking. This system off to our west is gradually going to break down and work its way to the east. That's going to be bringing the next round of rain and storms back into the work week's forecast. We'll time all that out coming up.
And now, your News 18 traffic report, sponsored by Tipmont REMC.
Nice and quiet for your Monday morning sunrise here in just over 20 minutes. With that cloudy sky still over Greater Lafayette, but traffic moving nice and steadily. No major slowdowns to report here across town. Just be mindful, a little bit of localized traffic or construction will be possible, and that's the same story for much of the area. No big slowdowns to report. Only closures showing up on the major roadways all the way out on US 36. That's just to the east of Kokomo there. Be mindful of some localized detours possible there. Otherwise, everything looking pretty good here for your morning drive, Marley.
Sounds great. Hey, speaking of traffic, we do have a couple of traffic alert for drivers in Montgomery County. Starting today, NDOT is closing US 136 west of New Ross. This is to replace a box culvert over Cornstalk Creek. This is located between County Road 850 East and 500 South. This project is expected to be complete by early September. Now, the project also includes replacing the bridge on State Road 59 over Little Raccoon Creek. This is just south of State Road 47 in Wayland. This portion is not expected to close until June 1st and is expected to be finished in mid-August. A Brookston man has now been arrested in connection to a triple homicide in Miami County. 25-year-old Mitchell Page was arrested in Lafayette on Sunday and now faces 3 counts of murder. On Friday, officers with the Miami County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a house in Peru for a welfare check of those residents. That's where police discovered the bodies of 26-year-old Jessica Sizemore and 37-year-old Josiah Hall, as well as a 4-year-old child. Preliminary evidence showed they were shot to death on Sunday, May 16th. An uninjured 2-year-old boy was also found at that house. He was released into the care of the Indiana Department of Child Services. Police say Sizemore and Page do have a child together. Now, this is an ongoing investigation, and anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Indiana State Police or the Miami County Sheriff's Office. It is all about health and safety this week for a group of Lafayette students. One class of Edgelia Elementary first graders are hosting a health fair for the school. News 18's Micah Upshaw joins us in the studio to really explain what's making this fair extra special this year. So Micah, how is the fair really going to be more special this year.
Right. Well, Marley, this fair is looking a lot different compared to prior years. And because of that, students and teachers are actually taking away more than just a health lesson. Now, this year's health fair has gone virtual. Typically, it's done in the gym where more than 100 students gather to watch as these first graders present their projects. But of course, due to COVID-19 safety concerns, that wasn't possible this year. Now, their teacher, Maribel Masudi, decided to use this as a lesson to think outside the box. She had her class record themselves presenting their projects at home. Then she figured out how to program the videos in a way that other students could scan a code to watch. She says it's exciting seeing how the kids are adapting.
They might be young, they might be small, we think they're not capable of doing certain things, but if we set our standards high and explain our expectations, they will rise and meet them as long as they have support.
The entire school will spend this week virtually watching and learning about each health topic. They then write a response about 2 facts they've learned. Now, this project is only done through Miss Masudi's class. She teaches high ability students. They had about 9 weeks to work on these topics that range from fire safety to therapy to COVID-19 symptoms. I'm reporting in studio, Micah Upshaw, News 18.
Sounds pretty cool. Micah, thank you. The 105th Indianapolis 500 is on Sunday, and that means it is time to go ahead and get the milk ready. Every year, the Indy 500 has a designated milk person. So they are actually in charge of handing off the traditional ice-cold bottle of milk to the Indy 500 winner. The tradition of handing off that milk to the driver dates back to the 1930s. The American Dairy Association Indiana, or ADAI, works to promote and educate consumers about the dairy industry. Brooke Williams is the Director of Communications at ADAI. Williams says the Indy 500 does serve as an opportunity to showcase the Indiana dairy industry.
The American Dairy Association, we took it over in the 90s, in the early 90s, and that's really when dairy farmers really started to become part of the tradition. It wasn't just milk being a part of the Indy 500.
Williams said it's also a great opportunity for the dairy farmer to share their story with the public. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll hear more about the role Indiana dairy farmers play in the Indy 500 tradition. We'll also hear from employees at a local farm who contribute to the dairy industry. Gamers from across the area met up in Benton County over the weekend. It was all part of the Fowler Theater Smash Bros tournament. News 18's Cody Malin was actually at that tournament and also took part in competing. So Cody, the big question here this morning, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how did you do?
Marley, I wouldn't call it competing because I did not do as good as I was hoping to. I was actually knocked out in the second round. But regardless, it was a very fun time and it was a great fundraiser for the theater. Now, for those of you that may not know, Smash Bros is a fighting game with characters that fight each other from different video games. And this year's tournament had just over 50 people take part. The Fowler Theater was able to pull in $766 before the prize money was handed out. And as a bonus, players were able to enjoy free popcorn and pizza courtesy of the theater. Ages range from very young to middle-aged with full families in attendance. And one of those players says the different players made for some fun matchups.
There's a lot of different people playing here. I've played against some people who they haven't played for very long, or this is just a game they super enjoy. So it's a very wide spread of how well people know this game.
Will Simonton was this year's winner and walked out with a $100 cash prize. You can see him on your screen. Malachi Strong was this year's runner-up, and the tournament took around 6 hours to complete. And I will be fair and give credit where credit is due. Gabriel, the one who we interviewed, knocked me out of the tournament in the second round, but he made it pretty far, so props to him. Reporting in studio this morning, Cody Malin, News 18.
Looks like a lot of fun. Cody, thank you so much. Purdue baseball takes on Minnesota. The Boilermakers looking for their first sweep in Minneapolis since 1947. Find out if they did pull that off. Plus, Lafayette's Dance Dynamics held its annual recital over the weekend. Find out why this year's performance was extra special for those dancers. And there is some good news for those who want to take a trip to an amusement park. We'll tell you which park is open for the season.
And we're tracking hot temperatures in store for the start of the work week, followed by some rain chances. We'll time it all out next.
You're watching News 18 This Morning. News from where you live.
It is currently 6:12. Welcome back to News 18 This Morning. Lafayette's Dance Dynamics held its annual recital for the first time in 2 years. Now, it was done in a pretty special fashion, too, outside at the Tippecanoe County Amphitheater. The recital, Live Standout Moments and Dear Diary, features dancers from age 2 to 14. McCutcheon freshman Gemma Ingram has been dancing for 11 years. She is excited to be back, but also has a few nerves.
A little bit, especially since we can actually see the faces this year, because usually we're inside and we can't see the faces on stage, but this year we'll definitely be able to.
Now, following this weekend's performances, Dance Dynamics is now preparing for their summer national competition.
And now, your Precision 18 forecast. News 18. Weather from where you live.
Dry and hot conditions return in your Monday's forecast. With that, a little bit humid here this morning, but dry conditions can be expected. Here's what we're tracking. High pressure still sits over the region here, and with that, a little bit of clouds are working their way through the area, but you see clearer conditions just off to our west. Then even further, we'll start to track this system that sits in the Great Plains right now. That's eventually going to work its way to the east. That's going to be the trigger behind our next chances for some rain. That's still a few days away, so here in your work week's forecast, this is what we are tracking. Hot, dry start ahead, and afterwards those rain chances do return starting Tuesday evening into the midweek, but despite those rain chances, temperatures will still remain warm. So in your morning's forecast here as you do head out the door, will not be needing the sweatshirt or the jacket. I'd say keep the t-shirt and shorts ready to go, especially by this afternoon. 60s to about 70 degrees area wide here this morning, 70 Greater Lafayette, 63 up in Rensselaer, and then 67 down in Crawfordsville. Temperatures will quickly ramp up as we do head through the workday. Come 9 o'clock, we'll already be in the mid-70s. 88 degrees by lunchtime and a high of 90 here in Greater Lafayette. Overall, pretty quiet day too, not much in terms of winds, so that's going to keep us quite hot and humid here through your Monday's forecast. Clouds gradually do filter on out by the afternoon. Keep those sunglasses ready to go. Daily highs, 86 Winnemac, 88 Monticello, 90s off to our south and mid-60s, or mid-80s, shall I say, off to our north. On Precision Cast, clouds gradually filter their way on out. By 9 o'clock this morning, I'd say a mix of clouds and sunshine can be expected. And then those clouds generally do stick with us. However, I think by this afternoon, this is being a little bit aggressive, so I'd say mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies by the mid-afternoon. Next chance for rain does start to work its way on in on Tuesday evening. It says right at 7 p.m. a couple scattered showers will start to become possible. Greater chance for rain and even some storms do start to push their way on in Wednesday morning's forecast, and afterwards things do remain pretty active for the remainder of the work week's forecast. 89 tomorrow after 90 today, 84 Wednesday, and those temperatures do remain mild as the rain and storms do continue. Temperatures finally do return back near average by Friday. Note the average for this time of year, 76 degrees. Friday just shy of that, and then overall a pretty nice weekend ahead as of right now. Dry conditions, a break from the heat and humidity can be expected by Saturday and Sunday.
And now your News 18 traffic report, sponsored by Tipmont REMC.
So you head out this morning, drive times right where they should be at. Despite these colors, I promise all the major roadways are looking pretty quiet here this morning. Just over an hour to get down to Indy, Logansport, Crawfordsville, just over 40 and 45 minutes respectively too. And there you go, there's that traffic map. All major roadways are showing greens here this morning. Only localized construction or road closure on the major roadways just to the east of Kokomo there on US 36. A little bit of localized construction there, so be mindful, some detours possible there. Otherwise, things pretty quiet across Greater Lafayette too. Just be mindful, a little bit of localized traffic there along Sagamore Parkway could start to ramp on up here over the next hour. But Marley, overall, pretty warm start to the day ahead, and then we'll start to track those storm chances later on in the week.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the hot and humid conditions, today is the perfect day for you, it sounds like.
I'd say so, especially by this afternoon. 80s to about 90 degrees. It's going to be a hot one.
Wow, yeah, I had my jacket on this morning and I was like, why did I even wear this? Why did I didn't even need it.
I grabbed this sweatshirt and
yeah.
As soon as I stepped outside, I was like, this is pointless too. So also I'd say have the water bottles ready to go if you plan on spending a lot of time outdoors.
I think a lot of it too is you're just so used, it's a habit. It's a habit to always just grab your jacket.
Especially in the morning too, since the sun's not out, but warm this morning definitely, so it's only going to get hotter as we go on through the day.
Yeah, you definitely won't need it. Valen, thank you so much. All right, still to come, why children may be reading less and how the amount of milk you drink affects your cholesterol levels.
And now, sports scores and highlights. News 18. Sports from where you live.
Good morning. May 23rd, 1947. That's the last time the Boilermakers posted a clean sweep of Minnesota in Minneapolis. Greg Goff's team with the opportunity to do just that 74 years later. Out to Seibert Field we go. Purdue trails 2-0 in the top of the third. Skylar Hunter finds some free real estate in center. That'll plate two Boilers, including CC baseball alum Tyler Powers. Fifth inning, 3-2 go for Zach Fascia. Belts a two-run double deep. Purdue takes the lead for the first time. Fascia with his signature celebration. Home half of the fifth frame. And get this, Minnesota's Ronald Sweeney hits it so deep the camera can't even find it. A three-run shot for the Gophers. Both squads trading offensive punches. Until this, ninth inning tied at 8. Ricky Castro throws a wild pitch with the bases loaded. Yeah, that'll do it. Minnesota survives. Home team beats Purdue 9-8 in walk-off fashion on its senior day. PGA Championship in South Carolina. Phil Mickelson on fire. Lefty from the beach on hole 5 for birdie. You kidding me? He's 7 under and still in the lead. To the 10th hole we go. His second stroke sets up another birdie with this absolute beauty of a shot. Now the 50-year-old is 8 under. Let's head all the way to the 18th hole. Approach shot, no pressure, just a few onlookers there. Mickelson has a 2-stroke lead on the field, and now that ball just 15 feet away from the hole. Unbelievable placement on the green. A few people follow him down the fairway. In the words of Jim Nantz, Phil defeats Father Time. 16 years since his last title, 30 since his first title. That's the longest gap in PGA history. Mickelson is going home with some hardware. Just check out that trophy. All right, over to Major League Baseball. Sox at Yankees, New York up 2. Jamison Talion drills your Mercedes right in the head. Mercedes would be okay, but that doesn't look good. White Sox make a comeback later on, now down 3-zip. Jose Abreu sends a baseball into orbit at 2-run shot to put the Sox within 1, and they'd come all the way back to tie it at 4. Aaron Judge up to bat in the bottom of the 9th. No, this isn't the Purdue game from earlier. Liam Hendricks walks him. And the Yankees finish up a 3-game sweep of the Southsiders, 5-4, the final score. That's all we've got from the sports desk, but as always, visit us online at WLFI.com and click on the sports tab. We'll see you later.
Thank you, JD. Young children who are spending more time looking at screens are actually shown to spend less time reading books. This comes from the study in the journal Pediatricians that tracked thousands of Canadian families. It found 2-year-olds who use electronic devices spend less time reading by age 3. And in turn, this is leading to a greater screen use for children by the time they're just 5 years old. And new research finds people who drink lots of milk have lower levels of both good and bad cholesterol. The study in the International Journal of Obesity also shows regular milk drinkers have slightly more body fat, but a lower risk of coronary heart disease. It is now 6:23 on this Monday morning. It is hot, it is humid out there. You will not be needing that jacket today. Ballant will be joining us right after the break. How Indiana's dairy industry plays a role in the Indy 500, how the local dairy industry, how the Indianapolis dairy, how the Indiana dairy industry plays a role in the Indy 500. How the Indiana dairy industry plays a role in the Indy 500. I think I got some sun this weekend.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Bush Dog Brew is very positive about its new chef tasting officer. How about a round of pause for Ethan, selected by Bush on Friday to be their top dog? Just 4 months ago, Ethan was actually starving and abandoned when the Kentucky Humane Society nursed him back to health. Now he's thought to be the perfect CTO for Bush Dog Brew, which is a first ever beer for our four-legged friends. His new role as a taste master, Ethan will kind of help lead the expansion of the dog brew flavors. Ethan actually gets all the benefits. Listen to this. He gets stock options, health insurance, and a salary of 20,000 bones a year. What a good boy.
It looks nice and fluffy. I want to pet him.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of dog that is.
I don't know, but he's got a beautiful, is it mane or Coat. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, I'd say coat.
Mane would be for a horse.
That's right.
Right?
So.
Yeah.
I'm not a vet. I don't know the difference.
But you are a meteorologist.
That's
and you
right.
can give us a look at our forecast.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, let's switch it over to the forecast here. Overall, pretty quiet start to Monday, but with that, temperatures already pretty warm and a bit humid outside too. Sunrise here in just a couple of minutes. Pretty cloudy start to the day, but some of that sunshine is peeking its way through. And temperatures 60s to about 70 degrees area wide, so you will not be needing the sweatshirt or the coat here this morning. 70 Greater Lafayette, mid 60s elsewhere across the map. 66 Frankfort, 68 in Kokomo. With that too, a little bit humid outside. That air does feel a little bit heavy, with dew point sitting in the mid 60s for most of us. That's right at that humid range. So again, just keep that in mind as you do head outside. And by this afternoon, though, nice and warm with daily highs returning to the 80s to about 90 degrees. So if you do plan on spending extended time outside, be sure to pack that water bottle and just keep that in mind too. Overall, pretty quiet this morning too. Our next chances for rain still a day or two out. We'll time all that out here coming up.
We have some people at home that are laughing at us. Hey, it's early. It's early. We got it a little mixed up there. Hey, stay with us. We will be right back right after the break. The family of Nicole Bowen is one step closer to healing and justice for her loss. We'll tell you the verdict in Ashley Garth's murder trial.
Get the shorts ready, get the t-shirt ready. A warm and humid morning ahead. We'll have the latest in your workday's forecast next.
News 18 this morning starts now. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Welcome back, and hey, good Monday morning to you. It is 6:30 on May 24th. I'm Marley Thomas, and we're so glad you're joining us this morning. All right, let's go ahead and send it over to Ballant with a check of our forecast. Ballant, first of all, we've got to talk about something very important here. Very bittersweet week for us right here on News 18 this morning because it is your last week with us.
Yeah, that's right, too. The time's flown by, too, but just because it's my last week doesn't mean we're not going to stop having fun here in the mornings, too. So we'll keep it rolling here through Friday. So It's a good start to Monday morning here. With that, too, pretty comfortable, too. So we've been talking about it all morning. A warm, humid start to the work week in store with temperatures running in the 60s to about 70 degrees here area-wide. We do match that 70-degree mark here in Greater Lafayette. Elsewhere, 60s on the map, 63 Rensselaer, 65 Monticello, and it's 67 for you folks up in Cass County. And temperatures will remain mild here through the morning drive, with temperatures still remaining in the 60s to mid-70s, a mix of clouds and sunshine early, and then we'll start to get more sunny as we do head on into your Monday afternoon. So I'd keep those sunglasses ready to go, especially for the evening drive home. Temperature-wise, though, a nice and hot day ahead, especially by this afternoon. 80s to lower 90s can be expected. I do believe we do break that 90-degree mark here in Greater Lafayette this afternoon. With that, pretty quiet conditions early. Overall, pretty cloudy start to the day, but clear conditions just off to our west. That gradually works its way on in, and that's when we'll start to see some of those clearer conditions arrive. But then we'll start to focus on this next system. This is going to be the trigger behind our next chances for rain. That's still a couple days out. We'll time all that out next.
And now your News 18 traffic report, sponsored by Tipmont REMC.
Pretty quiet start to your Monday commute. Not much traffic going on. Just a little bit of localized slowdowns there on Sagamore Parkway, but just a couple cars here early this morning. Do believe that's going to be the trend for your Monday morning. No major slowdowns to report on. Otherwise, everything green across the region here this morning. So don't expect much in terms of slowdown. Only is closure to report here on the major roadways just to the east of Kokomo. That's on US 36 right there. Be mindful, a little bit of detours could be possible if you do have to go that way. Otherwise, Marley, all the major roadways looking pretty good.
Good to know. Ballant, thank you. In continuing coverage this morning, a jury has found Ashley Garth guilty on all 3 counts on Friday. Garth faced charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and assisting a criminal. As News 18 previously reported, Garth was involved in the death of Nicole Bowen that was back in March of 2019. Bowen's body was found wrapped in a blanket and bound by tape on a rural property in Newton County. She was strangled with an extension cord by Garth and Garth's boyfriend, that's Garrett Kurtz. Kurtz is currently serving a 55-year sentence for his role in that crime. Garth's sentencing date is set for June 9th. Bowen's family attended the entire trial. They said the jury deliberated for about 3 or 4 hours. They're happy that justice was served. All right, if you want to take a trip to an amusement park, this story is just for you. Indiana Beach is officially open for the 2021 season. The park opened up for guests on Saturday, and if you've been to the park in the past, you'll be happy to see there are new rides for you to try out for the first time this year. The highly anticipated Triple Loop roller coaster has not arrived just yet, but should be ready for guests pretty soon. Adult tickets are around $40 a day and children's tickets are around $30. The park is still looking for staff members to join their team. It is Health Fair Week for one class of Angelia Elementary first graders. Starting today and then ending on Friday, they are responsible for teaching the school about various health topics. But really, this project right here is about bringing lessons beyond just that. News 18's Micah Upshaw joins us in the studio to really tell us how. So, Micah, what are the students doing here?
Yeah, well, you know, Marley, it's teaching both students and teachers how to adapt when times are tough. And this is an annual project, but due to COVID-19 safety concerns, it had to look a lot different this year, but they're learning that's not such a bad thing.
I think it feels good because I get to literally teach the whole school, even maybe some of the teachers. I just love being the little teacher. It's fun and the whole school gets to watch it.
We can still learn if we have our masks on, even though we have to social distance.
While health topics are at the forefront for these Angelia Elementary first graders, their teacher Maribel Masudi says this project is really bringing lessons beyond that.
I always teach them, you know, if something doesn't work out, it's okay. Take a deep breath, let's think it over again, and find a way to make it work.
The health fair is typically done in the gym with more than 100 students gathering to listen as these first graders share their health topics. Since this goes against COVID safety measures, Ms. Masudi had to come up with a new plan.
We could have easily canceled it, but I decided, you know, I hold my standards high, and I know the kids are capable.
She created a virtual health fair this year. Her first graders had to record themselves presenting their project at home. She then programmed these videos so that students can scan a QR code to watch the presentations as they approach each poster board.
So I thought, you know what, we're going to try this, and I let my parents know, and the kids love technology, and if you make learning fun, they want to do it.
Ms. Masudi says that's the biggest lesson she's taking away.
They might be young, they might be small, we think they're not capable of doing certain things, but if we set our standards high and explain our expectations, they will rise and meet them as long as they have support.
Now, this health fair has been a tradition since before Ms. Masudi became a first grade teacher. Now, the entire school will watch the presentations through this week. Then the students will write a response with at least 2 facts they've learned. I'm reporting in studio, Micah Upshaw, News 18.
Well, good luck to all of them. Micah, thank you so much. 565 additional Hoosiers have now been diagnosed with COVID-19 statewide, and that is according to the Indiana State Department of Health. Take a look right here at your screen. The good news is there are no new deaths to report in the state. 14 cases were reported in Tippecanoe County, and Howard County reported 14. No new cases were reported in Benton, Fountain, Warren, Montgomery, or Pulaski counties. And more than 2,400,000 Hoosiers are now fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. According to the Indiana COVID-19 vaccination dashboard, that does include more than 10,000 people just within the past 24 hours. In Tippecanoe County, more than 78,000 are fully vaccinated. That's more than 46% of the county's total population. Just as a reminder for you, News 18 does continue to keep you updated when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine. Head to WLFI.com to find a link with step-by-step instructions on how you can make an appointment to get vaccinated.
A weekend video game tournament has brought in some good money for the Fowler Theater. Next on News 18 this morning, I'll let you know how many gamers took part.
So warm and dry start to your Monday morning, but we are checking some rain in the work week's forecast. Full time and all out next.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
This past weekend was really one for all the gamers out there. People gathered in Benton County for a Smash Bros tournament. News 18's Cody Malin took part in that event. So Cody, people who know you know that you play this video game a lot at home. So not to put you on the spot, but I want to know how you actually did in that tournament.
Yeah, a little embarrassing with that backstory. I did not do good, to say the least. My years of hard work, and despite if he wants to admit it or not, me beating Ballant almost every time we play. No. You just said no. Yeah, it didn't pay off. I may have been eliminated the second round, but it was all for a good cause, so no hard feelings. As News 18 has previously reported, the Fowler Theater held the tournament Saturday. Now, gamers were given the chance to play the one-on-one fighting style game on 6 smaller televisions or the big theater screen. Registration was $10 per player, and that money ended up bringing in $766 for the theater. Now, that was before the prize money was awarded. Players ranged from a mix of genders and all age ranges, and one of those players was just happy to get the chance to take on WLFI.
As soon as I think it was my youngest brother heard that the WLFI guy is playing, he was like, "Oh, I want to beat the WLFI guy and be on TV." And then the other two were like, "He's playing?"
Yeah, I was doing something kind of like playing, and Gabriel, that you saw right there, he did a great job knocking me out of the tournament. Now, Will Simonton was this year's winner and walked away with a $100 cash prize. Malachi Strong was this year's runner-up, and a total of 54 people took part in that tournament. I do want to say again, I was very thankful for the chance to play in the tournament this weekend. And just like Gabriel said, there was a good section of people there saying, quote, wanted the chance to beat the news guy, and there were a few people that were happy when I got eliminated. In studio this morning, Cody Malin, News 18.
And now, your Precision 18 forecast. News 18. Weather from where you live.
Hot and humid conditions return for the start of the work week. Will not be needing the coat. Won't need the jacket or the sweatshirt. I'd say have the t-shirt and the shorts ready to go here for the afternoon. And this morning, temperatures are already pretty comfortable. 63 up in Rensselaer, Greater Lafayette. We're right at 70 and 65 for you folks up in Monticello. This morning, quiet conditions across the region. So a little bit of clouds are overhead. However, clear conditions just off to the west in central Illinois. And then our next chance for rain still a few days out, but this next system will gradually start to work its way off to the east. And that's what we're going to be tracking here through the work week's forecast. So here's what you can expect over the next several days. Hot, dry start to the work week. That's in store this afternoon. Afterwards, those rain chances will build starting late Tuesday, especially into Wednesday morning. So a rainy midweek can be expected. Despite those rain chances, though, temperatures do remain nice and warm in the 80s. Here in your Monday's forecast, by 9 o'clock this morning, we're already going to be in the mid-70s, and then temperatures quickly do take off as some of those clouds do filter on out, a mix of clouds and sunshine through much of the workday. So I'd still have those sunglasses ready to go. Take a look at this. By lunchtime, upper 80s to nearly 90 degrees, and we do match that high of 90 this afternoon for us here in Greater Lafayette. Not much in terms of wind, so that's going to keep us pretty hot and humid here through the workday. So if you do plan on spending extended periods of time outdoors, have the sunscreen and maybe even have that water bottle ready to go. Daily highs into the 80s for most of us. 87 Rochester, 89 Flora, and then the lower 90s off to our south, 91 in Crawfordsville, as well as in Covington. We do remain dry today, a mix of clouds and sunshine as we do play through Precision Cast by 12 p.m. Say partly cloudy skies. I do believe this is being a little bit aggressive on just how much clouds we will see, especially through the afternoon. Say mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies during the late afternoon to early evening. But again, we do remain dry today. Then our next chances for rain do start to work their way on in Tuesday's forecast. This is picking up a little bit of rain here by tomorrow morning. Don't believe that's the case. We will be cloudy though tomorrow morning. Greater chance for rain does start to work its way on in during Tuesday evening, especially into Wednesday morning when we could start to see some storms work their way back on in. This is right at 9:30 here. By then, wet conditions can be expected. Temperatures do remain pretty warm despite the rain chances. And speaking of those rain chances, they do stick with us late Tuesday all the way through Friday with scattered storms possible as well. Average for this time of year, 76 degrees. We do return to near average by Friday and not too bad. In the weekend's forecast, we'll see a break from the hotter conditions as well as these more humid-like conditions. So just got to get through the rainy work week and afterwards a beautiful weekend in store.
And now your News 18 traffic report, sponsored by Tipmont REMC.
As you do head out the door this morning, pretty quiet conditions can be expected for the morning drive. I know these are showing reds here, but I'm going to give these a green light here. Again, Marley, it's been the ongoing joke here for quite some time, too. It's basically color roulette, too. For some reason, the computer won't let me override that. But, hey, things looking pretty good area-wide, too. Don't expect any sort of major slowdowns. Just a little bit of localized traffic will be possible.
We never know what those colors are going to pop up as.
I think they're matching the dress attire color here because those were red. Got the red tie, you got the red dress on. It's matching today.
And you know what? We didn't even plan this. Some days we do plan it. Today we didn't. You just kind of showed up in red.
Yeah, telepathic. There we go.
There we go.
I can't even speak this morning.
Great minds think alike. We'll just say that.
100%, yes.
There we go. All right, Ballot, thank you so much for a look at our forecast and our traffic. Milk is used for a variety of products, and some of it is produced right here in Tippecanoe County. Next on News 18 this morning, how Indiana farmers are represented at the Indy 500.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Welcome back to News 18 this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The Indianapolis 500 is less than a week away, which means it is time to go ahead and get the milk ready. It is a tradition to have an official milk person. They hand the Indy 500 winner a bottle of ice-cold milk. The Indy 500 is an event to showcase racing and also the Indiana dairy industry.
So we milk cows twice a day here at Purdue. So we start at 5 a.m. and then again at 4 p.m.
With 165 milking cows at Purdue Dairy Facility,
the girls on average produce about 78 pounds of milk each. So that accumulates to about 9 gallons of milk per day per cow.
Milking cows is something Holly Sybray, the head herdsman at Purdue Dairy Farm, is used to.
So we milk 16 cows at a time, so 2 turns. And when we go in, we prep the cows' udders mostly. We clean them, disinfect them before we put the units on to collect the fluid milk.
The Purdue Dairy Farm serves more than one purpose.
Even though this is a facility that has teaching and research components, it's also a facility that's a commercial facility that sells milk.
Assistant professor in the Animal Science Department at Purdue and dairy extension specialist Jackie Borman says the milk truck comes every other day to pick up milk.
That milk is going to go to Foremost Farms, which is the co-op, and that milk is going to be made into cheese and fluid milk, butter, ice cream, etc. So it still is producing a product that's going to go and feed people throughout Indiana as well.
And with the Indianapolis 500 less than a week away,
a lot of people don't even realize that it's an Indiana dairy farmer that's handing off the milk to the winning driver.
Brooke Williams with the American Dairy Association Indiana, or ADAI, says every year an Indiana dairy farmer is selected to be the milk person. They hand off the traditional ice-cold bottle of milk to the Indy 500 winner.
It is a farmer. It's not just some random person presenting the milk. And we like to say that milk at the Indianapolis 500, it represents all dairy farming families here in the state of Indiana.
Selecting an Indiana dairy farmer serves as a way to represent all dairy farmers.
For us to be able to really put a spotlight on the dairy farmers during the month of May at the Indianapolis 500, it's one of our favorite days in the year.
As for the milk handed off on race day,
we buy it in a store just like everyone else. So, which really does help us tell the story that the milk is processed with milk from all different farms, and so that way we don't know the pinpoint of the exact location. The dairy farmer, it doesn't matter to them. It's milk, and they're proud to present it.
As you watch this year's Indy 500 tradition continue, keep in mind dairy farm operators like Sybray at Purdue who keep their operations going.
Dairy farming is not really a career, it's a way of life.
The 2021 milk person is Jill Hewen from Plymouth, Indiana. She will be handing off the traditional bottle of milk at the Indy 500 this year.